to copy the credit limit from from the let's see things visually. Now clear the legal name. Uh, we have the parent account of this opportunity, and our custom workflow will execute on an opportunity, and will have a parameter which will be account, and will read the primary contact, and will retrieve the credit limit from that primary contact, and we will return it as a value from our workflow. So let's call it account dot contact credit limit retriever. And we'll create the custom workflow from the template that we created earlier. And it's restoring the NuGet packages. It takes a little time. And now, our custom workflow, we created the template to be pretty similar to the plugin development. The differences are that the custom workflow inherits from code activity, a plugin inherits from my plugin, and one has a plugin execution context, the other has code activity context, and there are small changes, but in the end we are always executing some code, so we have done the template to be similar. One thing that a custom workflow has more than a plugin is that we can specify the input uh, variables, and since our input here will be entity reference, the account, and reference target the account. Now I have mentioned before that we cannot use the instance variables in our plugins or in the custom workflow because we are not the ones that are creating the instance for this plugin in the system, and we should not touch the instance variables because we don't know when it will be created. But the in argument, for example, or the out argument, which we will specify out argument output will be credit limit public out argument type money, and we will see if it works this way. Credit limit. This is an out argument, and still we have only a get because we have the other class which will help us, which is called parameters, and account entity reference. Count. Now I will explain what I did. The template offers us a class parameters, which helps us with reading and writing the input and output parameters, because to actually read from the account, which is in argument entity reference and is specified here, we need to pass the execution context, code activity context, in the get method. So we are using an instance variable, but we are telling that we want to get the value for this specific execution. So there are no problems with the concurrency that might arise if we use actually the instance variables. It's how the system manages to get the correct value. And it works only for in arguments and out arguments and in out arguments. So the other one we want to specify is money credit limit. And since credit limit is an out variable, out parameter, then we only have the set here. So we will do workflow credit limit dot set, and we will pass the context, and we will pass the value. So we specified what our input and output parameters are. We have the parameters here to be used in an easy way, and we have the context, which will offer us the eye tracing service and the eye organization service. What we want to do for our logic is to retrieve the primary contact for the account. So we only have the account reference. So what we want to retrieve first is the primary contact property. And we will do entity account equals context dot retrieve of organization service dot retrieve, and we want to retrieve an account, and the ID is parameters dot I think I left without the public. No, sorry, public. Okay, the visibility is important, because if they are not public, we cannot use them. Account.id. And the column set, we want new column set. We want to retrieve the parent, the primary contact ID. And only this, because we want to retrieve data about just prefer the using short names, because the alternative was to use the long name for column set. We are retrieving our account with this primary contact ID. If our account has an attribute contains the primary contact ID, means that I can retrieve the related data, let's say. If it does not have a primary contact ID, then I can't retrieve some inexistent contact. And I will say entity contact equals context dot organization service dot retrieve contact, and I will say account dot get attribute value entity reference entity reference primary contact ID. I hope you are following what's the logic that we are implementing. New column set, and here I don't remember what it was called, so I will go and just check in the field, and it's credit limit. And I have an error because here I'm passing the entity reference and not only the ID. So if my contact, usually we have to do null checks a lot of time because I can do it like this, money. Because in the CRM, the values are not required usually. You can leave nulls, so you have to do null check. You have to validate before you access it. Yeah. And contact dot get attribute value money, and probably we will have something to debug later, but let's hope not. Now I will always null check if money then I will do parameters credit limit equals money, and I can do this magic here because I did the trick with the parameters class, and actually this set here is this method. Otherwise I would have to write something similar to this, and this context here should be something else, not this context. That's why, and the workflow is this. This credit limit here that I want to set, that I'm setting like this, I complicated the construction of the class with these parameters here, so that the code with the logic should be clean. Yeah, that's the main reason. Now we can build our solution, and I want to specify that our template had preset the sign key and all the references, necessary references with copy local false. So just this. Now let's open the plugin registration tool and create new connection, login. I'll stop the video, and since we already have some